Hi guys, this is Shalaka. I am a BTech student at NITK Surathkal and I'm currently pursuing Electronics and Communication Engineering. And this talk is going to be about an introduction to neural networks. An introduction to neural networks. So, why neural networks? Here's an example. Recent advances in neural machine learning have been made by Google Translate as they announced that they had made the full switch to neural machine learning. Earlier, they used a different type of neural network model where the input and output sequence had the same length, which was a constraint, and the results weren't accurate. So later, this model was upgraded to an encoder-decoder architecture, hence increasing the accuracy to 60 to 90% based on the language and phrase. So it is still not 100% accurate, but it surely come a very long way. So the picture that you can see is the translator algorithm of the neural networks, and the type of the model that is used here is the recurrent neural network or RNN. Now coming to the topic, what are neural networks? Neural networks are a set of algorithms modeled loosely after the human brain that are designed to recognize patterns. It is the functional unit of deep learning which mimics the behavior of the human brain to solve complex data-driven problems. They interpret sensory data through a kind of machine perception using various techniques such as labeling or clustering, and this information is contained as numbers in the form of vectors. So I'll be explaining about this a bit further. There are many types of neural network models, as you can see. Single layer perceptrons, multi-layer perceptrons. Perceptrons are the building blocks of the neural network. And there are others like Markov chains, SVMs, even complex ones like deep neural networks. But this talk is going to give an overview about neural networks as a whole. Deep learning makes use of artificial neural networks that behave similar to the neural networks in our brain. So just like our brain has neurons, which help in building and connecting thoughts, artificial neural networks have perceptrons that accept the input. And this input is then passed on to the hidden layers to the output layer. So as the input is passed on from the input to the hidden layer, an initial random weight is assigned to each of the input. The input is then multiplied with the corresponding weights and the sum is further processed through the network. So here W1, W2, W3 are called the weights and B is the intercept term called bias. So perceptron takes an input, aggregates it and returns 1 only if the aggregated sum is more than some threshold, else it returns 0. In the graph above, therefore, is simply an example of a graphical representation of a simple linear equation. So by taking the observed data and a proposed model, we basically want to write an algorithm to learn the values of W and B which are best fit for the data and an approximative function which maps the input to the output values. Hence, this type of an algorithm is called an optimization algorithm. So we can learn about much more complex functions by simply cascading the linear functions one after the other. And the only additional thing that a node does in a neural network is an activation function is applied to each linear output. So a node are the circles that you can see in this picture. The purpose of an activation function is to help the neural network find non-linear patterns in the data. Because if we just cascade the nodes like the ones described in the above linear equation, the result is still going to be a linear equation, which is a problem, which means that even after training the model, the result is going to be a linear equation. But in real life, most of the problems are much more complex than that. So an activation function gives the model more flexibility and allows the model to be able to learn non-linear patterns as well. So in the network above, we can see that we have two hidden layers. The first layer with all the X features is called the input layer. and there are two hidden layers with two nodes each, and then there's the output layer with one node which is mapped to Y. So the hidden layers can have a lot of nodes or very few nodes depending on how complex the problem is. So now coming to the functionality of a node, each node actually does two things. The first step is the weight sum, so let's call it Z, which is the aggregated sum that we saw. And the second part is an activation function. So there are various types of activation functions in neural networks. One of the more common ones is the rectified linear unit function. It's a pretty simple function. It's a linear function for all the positive values, and it is simply set to 0 for all the negative values. Something like you can see in the picture. So neural networks help us cluster and classify. So you can think of them as a clustering and classifying layer on top of the data that you manage. They help to group unlabeled data according to the similarities, and they classify data when they have a labeled data set to train upon. Now, my interest in machine learning pushed me to take up a course on ML on Coursera, where I came across neural networks. To understand better, I took up a small project of image classification using TensorFlow. So, TensorFlow, if you do not know, is a Python library for numerical computation, which makes coding much simpler because it has inbuilt functions that you can use, and it reduces the lines of code that you need to write drastically. So this is the screenshot of the output. Basically, the labeled data that we trained the model upon was handwritten numbers, and the numbers were identified by the model and the result is displayed above it. So this is a basic model that took me hardly a couple of hours to build, and it was pretty interesting. So once you get into the subject, guys, it's really fun. So here's how you can learn more. First of all, have a basic idea of TensorFlow because it's a library that can help you a lot. And have a basic idea about Python as a programming language because it's a basic language that you need to know and it's mostly used. Then there's Coursera or Udemy or Pluralsight or any other online platforms to practice upon. And then even if you're stuck, of course, there are YouTube tutorials or code documentations that you can watch and clear up your doubts and learn more. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and click on the bell button as to not miss out any content. Contact us here.